have the money to support it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So then,
You do equine therapy? Is that one of the things
yeah,
you do? Okay. My
yes,
wife works in that too.
yes. So my my finances and my fire are kind of intertwined because in order to really do that, I need to up my income. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but what does that look like and where does that go? Because I could go, there's a way I could go with that, but it involves sales, with the whole Plexus stuff, Hunter. I mean, I love that,
Yeah.
but um, it, sales is a four-letter word. And I feel like I'm making someone do something they don't want to do,
Mm.
even though it benefits in the long run. So there's that piece, but then I need the finances to support the international service work. Or do I do like an online um, like training or um, workshop that people pay for, and then that would help support it. So it's just,
Well, the
and
good
none of that is in my wheelhouse.
well the good
I
news
mean,
is
I am
the good news is that it sounds like you have options. There's just, I mean, there's because you haven't begun yet, so there's really a lot of different
right.
there's a lot of different iterations that we could potentially choose, but it's just doing something first, and then it's just because the first thing might probably just isn't going to work. But it's important to start that thing, so then you can iterate that thing, and then get closer to the thing that you should be doing. That's going to get you where you want to go. So it's
Right.
yeah, but
But
that's
I
part.
don't like starting something that I don't feel or think that I'm going to be successful in.
Hmm.
So that's my brain coming back and going, but you don't know anything about, you know, sales or creating a online workshop or writing an ebook or I did my, but I will say I did my first Instagram reel today.
Right.
Who
Congratulations.
knew? So yeah.
Well, I started this one, Beth, because I think that might help you with overcoming the sales. So I started that one to remind me. But so I'm glad that we're having a lot of these discussions right now, because this ties into what we're going to be talking about today. And what I want to talk about today is the inviting your customers, your prospects, into a story rather than just marketing. We want to go away from marketing and more into an invitation of story. Just making sure everybody's okay. And once I'm done with that, then we're going to talk about, all right, well, who is that person that we're invited into the story? Who are they? And then from there, then I'll give you guys a couple of hacks. But those are the two main bedrocks that I want to talk about today: is invite your customers into a story, then find out who that person actually is. And so, no matter what piece of copy being the words that you see on a description that try to get you to buy something, or a commercial, or a movie, or a novel. All right, I'm going to get very, very passionate about this. I love this
Well,
stuff.
good.
I used to
Because
get I used
lay it
to
on me.
I used to get paid $10,000 to do this stuff for people. So I'm albeit that was a self-sabotaging activity. I love this stuff. Pretty good at it. So in order, this is just like writing a book. Well, getting your advertising and messaging down is just like writing a book. And how do you start with a book? You start at the end. You start at the end, just like we did with our 60-day objective, just like you would do it if you were training your body, right? So we're going to start at the end, and we have to ask ourselves the question: based on what we're offering our customers, what transformation is going to take place? So I did a lot of copywriting for gyms. And if somebody was like David Cutts, who's been on our video chats before, I've helped him with this. He's helping kids go from slow pokes to speed demons, right? So there's always where are they starting, and then what transformation is your product going to help them achieve? So what we're selling, and again, you see this all the time in commercials, just based on where the model is what she's like, all of these things. They're selling an aspirational identity. That is what your prospects are going to cling to. So if you that's why I say let's start at the end there, because then once you know the transformation that's going to take place here, then you can start at the top of your story. And so what this is, and I'll put this in the chat afterwards, you can do this for free as many times as you want for your marketing or a particular product or your company as a whole. It's mystorybrand.com. mystorybrand.com. You can do this as many times as you want for free. Okay. So once you know the aspirational identity that you're selling, then you will know what that person wants. Again, using David's example, slow poke to speed demon. Okay, well then it's pretty easy to tell what that kid wants. They want what? They want to get faster. Okay, so that's the want, right? Again, going back to movies and stories. Okay, if the author or the filmmaker did a good job, you should be able to stop the film at any time and point to each individual on the screen, and you should be able to tell. You should be able to know what it is that they want. Okay, so it needs to be incredibly obvious. It has to pertain to your product or service or offering. What do they want as it relates to your product, service, or offering, as it relates to that aspirational identity that we're trying to get them to transform? Okay, now here's the ticker a little bit. Okay, problem. This is, you guys see this all the time in advertising. Do you suffer from, right? Do you wish you had? I mean, every freaking ad starts with a problem. Why? Because it works. Because problems are the hook. Okay. I think I used this example at maybe my last Toastmasters speech. John, you have to correct me on this one. But the two examples that I always use is Marvel's Avengers and Justice League's or DC's Justice League. Okay. Marvel's Avengers Infinity War started with Thanos wreaking havoc on Thor's ship. Okay. Justice League, we didn't know who Steppenwolf was until 20 minutes into the movie. What was the difference? Marvel's Avengers Infinity War went on to be the highest grossing movie of all time. Justice League had to be completely remade, because Marvel did a fantastic job hooking us with the problem in the story, and they took it a step further. They made the problem the main character. Okay, that's how important problem is in our in the story that we're inviting our customers into. Now, there's 3 layers of problems, and that's important. One is for the simplicity and clarity's sake, but also the internal, you're really starting to dig in and you're starting to get build some empathy with your customers. So the external problem, what is the external problem? Well, a kid wants to get faster. The external problem is that he's slow. Okay, but really, what's the internal problem? Right? A lack of confidence. They feel invisible to their coaches at tryouts every year. They're not sure if they'll play in college. Things like that. People, we sell. So I think one of the problems with some of the things that I see on most advertising today is that there's only external problem selling. People buy solutions to internal problems, not external ones. People buy solutions to internal problems, not external ones. Okay, and then the philosophical problem is why is it just plain wrong, essentially, for your customers and prospects to feel that way? Why is it just plain wrong? Why is it a great injustice, right? No kid deserves to have a lack of confidence during their most formative years. That's a philosophical outlook of the problem, right? And if you nail these 3 things, right, external, internal, philosophical, then that's a really nice and easy way to create raving fans, because the prospect knows that you get them, you understand them, you've been where they're at, which is the exact language that you're going to use when you start positioning yourself as the guide. You're gonna display empathy using language like I just used. I've been where you're at. I know how it feels. I feel your pain. right? Because empathy, where empathy flows, connection grows. But then it's one thing to have somebody's empathy, you know, like it's okay, you understand me, but the question that they're maybe not asking explicitly, but definitely thinking is, what makes you the authority on the subject? And then that's when you turn around and you start giving statistics are great, honors of any kind, rewards, certificates, recognitions, things like that, testimonials. And a testimonial doesn't need to be anything more than problem and solution. So before I started working with Beth, I couldn't put one sentence together. And now, by virtue of the fact that I'm sitting here talking to you, you can see how much she's helped me. Like that's a perfect testimonial right there, right? For what Beth does. And then you're going to give them a plan. So after you've demonstrated your empathy and your competency and why you are a subject matter expert, now they're going to start salivating a little bit. Okay, so you get me and you're the real deal. How's it work? And the plan just needs to be simply that. 1, 2, and 3. Very simple, very, very clear, right? Book a call, schedule consultation, or something like that for the first one. And then the second one is we build the plan, something like that. And then number 3. Now, number three, you can insert the want here, right? Or you can insert the aspirational identity. So again, for something like David's Gym, right? Book a call, choose your plan, become a speed demon. Like, so really simple like that. So for John, book a call, build the plan, craft your life, or something like that, right? John, you know your language better than I do, right? But again, for Osama, right? Book a call, choose your option, get coverage. Very simple. It's very clear. It doesn't need to be sexy, right? And that's a big mistake that I see on this part here. When I would work with gym owners and getting their messaging down, they'd get like really fancy jargon here, and like nobody knows what max velocity means. Nobody knows what that means, but they know what top speed means. Oh, okay. So yeah, you want to get rid of any jargon or industry slang. Make it very clear and clear, for lack of a better word. Then after you have that, whatever your direct call to action is. Now, the direct call to action could and usually is step 1 of the plan, right? So then from here you can say now, so book a call, right? Or schedule a free consultation, right? Or get assessed, right? And then Beth, this is where I start here for you. Now, if you don't like the direct call to action, this is kind of your get out of jail free card, because the next thing you would say is, and in the meantime, be sure to check out my free ebook, three P's of Speed. It only costs you an email, right? And then what that will do is then you get them into your email, right? And then if you're building it out, or you're just doing it manually once a week, right? Then you would nurture, right, for anywhere between 4 to 7 weeks, and then you could enter them into a sales campaign. Now, again, you can automate this. So once they download that, then your business is running in the back end, and they're going to either be converted in maybe 1 to 2 months, or you're going to just have them part of your community, and they'll buy when they're ready. Okay. But that is a get out of jail free card if you don't like the direct call to action. Doesn't mean you get to get out of the direct call to action, but you're giving them both options. Will you marry me, or do you want to go on a few dates first? Right. So you're kind of giving them both there. And then after that, so in the meantime, book a call with Beth. In the meantime, download my free ebook, How to Talk Without, X and X. We can talk about headlines in a little bit here. But so you can, and then you're going to list out all the benefits of working with Beth. And there is a reason why I have like way more up here than just a few down here. So you can have way more X amount of benefits with Beth, and you can stop just a little bit. Because then if you overcook the failure piece, right, you're going to kind of come off as fear mongering. And that's going to be this. It's just like it's like salt when you're baking bread, just a little bit. You just need just a little bit. There's a little bit of failure, right? Just kind of remind them, kind of poking that problem again there, as far as so you're reminding them to get them to take action with you there. So then this is your marketing collateral right here. These seven steps, right? Plus the aspirational identity. But so what does that mean? Well, you then, once you have your messaging clarified and you have it all right in front of you, well, you can start pulling from any one of these things to develop content. You can, so Beth, if she wanted to do a couple of posts on some of the successes you said, she can pull there for content. She can pull about the problems externally, internally, philosophically as a post, right? Or maybe a string of posts if you're doing like a theme of just if you don't want to focus on like just the problem for a week's worth of content. You can talk about yourself as a guide, or you can truncate all of these, right, into just one free-flowing message here. Do you want to go from slowpoke to speed demon? Well, that's great. And so that probably means that you want to get faster. The only problem is you're slow, which makes you feel like you're probably not going to go to college. And I got to tell you, I got kids. No kid should fear not being able to go to college. And so I've been where you're at. I was actually a slow athlete myself, and then I started running track. And all of a sudden, after doing it for 7 years, I can still race against college kids. And so if you want to work with me, here's how it works. You're going to book a call. We're going to choose a plan, and then you're going to become a speed demon. So book a call. And in the meantime, download my free ebook, 3 Keys of Speed, so you can start getting closer to being a speed demon and getting further away from being a slow poke. Right, so I just did that off the rip there, but that we could probably do it way more polished. But that could be a post right there, just your literal message that right there, and then you would just say that and iron it out, massage it over and over and over and over and over and over again, because that's what marketing is. You're saying the same thing to new people every single day, right? So. Any questions on that? Was that helpful at all? Did I leave anything unturned?
One of the things in your message, Hunter, you said it's the same thing to different people every day. You can say the same message many different ways. So you can actually give the same message to the same people many times. You just do it differently, and it doesn't feel like the same thing. And that's how you get the repetition in, because it's the repetition that starts to drive it home. Hopefully, it's different enough that it doesn't become annoying that you're just saying the same thing over and over again. Because we've all seen those where you get the same email every day. And I love the one, maybe you didn't see my last email. Oh, yeah, I saw
Yeah.
it. The delete button was real handy. But if you're sending something different and something useful each time, and it's a different something useful, you can really be selling the same thing every single time that it goes out, just a different way.
Yeah, and I think I would agree with that, John. And I think if you kind of have this, it's really kind of a story bank, more than anything, as far as you can just pull things from. To John's point, you can have an email just being purely about the want, and then you're talking about that. You can have an email purely about the problem, and you can have an email or Instagram caption, or a whole email campaign about just the problem. So you're just saying the same things differently, like John said. So, Beth, I want to hear your thoughts. And Osama.
Go ahead, Osama. He's been talking about me for like 20 minutes. Apply it over.
Well, I think the way that you laid it out is fairly simple. I think it almost follows the path of like how I've set up my website.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've never thought about it that way. Like when because that's one of the hardest things for me, right? Like insurance is not sexy, right?
Okay.
It is the hardest thing to get people to actually understand that this is the one thing that you don't need until you need it.
Mhm.
And so crafting the message is the biggest part. And like for me, when I initially set up the website, this is the way it was kind of laid out. But the way my messaging is probably isn't like that.
Well, it's primordial, right? And I talk about this in my book. It's primordial. I'm so glad you said that, Osama, because we know what story is, even though we don't know that we know it sometimes. Like
Yeah.
you said, I laid it out like this. It's like, yeah, because that's what a story is.
Yeah.
You know, it's how we've been communicating for as long as we can remember. That's really cool. But what you just said there, that needs to be in your messaging somewhere about insurance
Yeah.
not being sexy. Like, listen, I get it. Insurance isn't sexy.
Well, that's,
Like,
Yeah.
that's like a philosophical problem right there. Like, listen, I get it. It's not sexy, but it's
Yeah.
that comes across as very raw and relatable. I think you should be using that if you're not already.
yeah, that's usually my go-to, and like it kind of gets people's guard down because like that's the reality of it. Like nobody understands it, insurance, right? Insurance is complex. The point of our agency is that we make it simple for you, and
Yeah.
this is how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
I know where you are, Osama. I'm from an insurance background. I'm just retiring out of it and into my coaching full time. And, it's one of those things that nobody wants to buy, nobody ever wants to use it. And you're trying to sell something to somebody they don't want.
Yep.
But they have to have it because then that day when something bad happens, it gets a whole lot worse if nothing's going to take care of you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think and you two would know this better than I do because I was only in insurance for 6 months. Some of the most fun I had in my life. But the thing about it is you have to create a demand for it. And how do you create demand? How do you create that demand? At least in life insurance, I had to talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
To get them to care about it. Right? So I'm not sure your two's experience with that, but yeah, that's a tough one. Because John just hit on the head. You're trying to make somebody aware of a problem they don't have. That's hard.
Yeah. Well, that's and that's where I'm stepping in, right? Like the past 2.5 years that I've been building on my business, I built a solid foundation on just the personal lines. So it's your average homeowner auto, but now I'm digging deep on the commercial side, and it's more of a niche.
Yeah.
And so the thing that comes with it is I've got to qualify. Like this comes into play, but I've got to qualify my clients first to see who's even worth it.
Yeah.
Because if I'm giving this message and I'm trying, you can only lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? And that's been the hardest part. So like I think the first part is actually qualifying who it is that I want to work with, and that's all I've been doing this past year, and I know that. But now it's just making the message compelling enough and showing them the offer.
Qualifying as how? How do you mean? Like in terms of they're able to afford you, or as far as the perfect ideal client?
Qualifying the person that I know is actually worth working with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you've got, for example, I'm just going to use contractors. You've got general contractors or contractors that work day in and day out, but they abuse the system. They basically get insurance for whatever work they're about to do, turn around, cancel it. And that just becomes a hassle. Right? I actually want to work with big time companies, people that actually understand that, hey, insurance is a strategic part of my entire portfolio. I get it sucks, but I want to put my hands in somebody that's going to know what the hell they're doing, and I can be hands off after that.
And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about now, as far as identifying the ideal client. So I thank you for that segue. Beth.
Good job. Bonus points for Osama.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Beth. You set me up there.
See, now Hunter can just continue his discussion.
Beth, I think only because I've done it myself and it worked out really well for me. I think that you have to punt the idea of getting paid just a little bit down the road. And I only say that because the play that I wrote, so I wrote an ebook that was 20,000 words. It was the 3 P's of speed, and I got 500 emails in a day from that. The head strength, actually, it's crazy because that was in 2018. The head strength coach of Florida State, his name is Josh Storms. The head strength coach for the University of Florida or Florida State University football team, he still uses that book as his speed training resource for the off season. So it's
Awesome.
but having 500 clients, I mean, I made so much more money off of those people that trusted me by giving them away a free book. I mean, just like very, very high ticket items as far as 5-day consulting appointments that were 5 figures. I would run Black Friday specials that would make over $7,000 in a couple of hours. I mean, when you give away something of just such immense value like that, they're gonna be like, well, how good's the stuff that you get to pay for? And so, I mean, take it or leave it. I mean, you are such a wealth of knowledge, Beth. I mean, if you put together just a 20,000 quick read ebooks, like something like that for what you do, I mean, I would say build the audience first, and then to your point of being afraid to sell, then you're not. Then you're just developing community, and every now and then, if you can just include it in a quick PS, because sometimes that's the only part of the email that people read are the PSs, and just you have a soft PS in there scheduling to book, like, hey, if you're ever ready to talk more about this, click here to book a call with me. And since you gave them this huge free resource, I mean, they might be coming ready to buy, and you won't even have to sell. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't know. I mean, do you have any thoughts on them?
I was just gonna say real quick, before I ever entertain a software program or something big that I've got to invest in, there's always usually an offer, like a 14-day, 30-day, and because obviously, I'm going to sign a year contract, 2-year, whatever year contract, and it's like a $6,000 software. That's usually what gets me to kind of believe in, okay, this is well worth it. I want to see what this can do and if this is actually worth it. And so I think there's some truth into that.
Oh yeah.
That's
I mean, I think the try before you buy. I mean, yeah. To your point, I just tried out Monday.com for my district so I could get projects done faster. But I wouldn't have tried it if there wasn't a free 14-day trial. Absolutely, yeah. Anything
In my
there?
case,
Go ahead.
yeah, I'm thinking through that because I'm thinking more of a like a 2-section website where there's a site that's free and anybody can go on and look at my example therapy videos or my sample there's another section on old women can lift heavy.
Yeah.
So they can go on there and see the free stuff, but then give them snippets of what's behind. So they want to go even deeper to the access to the higher level training and videos and lower cost on my workshops and things like that. That's what I'm thinking. Because with what I do, especially with the horses, you have to see it to understand it. It's very difficult to explain what to do in words, but if you see it and I show you a 2-minute sample of myself working with a client, all of the neurons connect. It's like, oh,
yeah,
wow, yes, I want to do more of this.
So Beth, you can just run the, for lack of a better word, play that the guy you're talking to is doing. So my content drives people to Artistic Warrior, and then none of this costs anybody anything, right? And then for those who want to move forward more with me for more access, essentially, right? Because that's pretty much all that they would be paying for if they want more access to Beth. How do I get no. The courses are great. I want to talk to this woman. right? Well, that you got paid.
Mhm.
Right? So I mean, this is already in play right here. What we're doing right now. So I mean, you could literally just take what we're doing, create your own school group, and then you can have the free. You can have one school group, be it free, and then that's leading you into the paid group, which is more access to you. So. And this platform isn't free. It costs me $99 a month, even though I'm not charging anybody anything. But the hope is to, right, get buyers out of it. So that might be something worth thinking about. But I wanted to do this as well because I think this will also really nicheify you, Beth, and also I think it's going to really help Osama with some of his qualifying questions. And John, well, I can't help you.
I'm beyond help, Hunter. I'm beyond help.
Okay, so we're talking about essentially scratching our own itch here a little bit in terms of who is that ideal person that I want to work with per Osama's question. So number one, we need to figure out, okay, what are we selling them? What? Okay. And there's 3 P's, not having anything to do with speed, but there's a pain, there is a profession, and then there are their passions or interests.
What was your first one? Pain? P-A-I-N?
Pain. Yep. And so this one here would be something you, as in you, Beth, something you have personally overcome. So it's kind of a callback to the empathy piece on the framework we just went through before. Okay. Profession, the day job. And so passions are somewhat self-explanatory. What are they interested in? What sets their soul on fire? Okay, now, who are we selling this what to? Okay, there's a few different ways we can figure out the who. They're like you. It's somebody you've helped before. Or, and this is one that I would not recommend because yours truly did this about 20 years running, although it does work. I'm hungry. So out of these three, these three have all worked for me in the past. I prefer this one. I do not prefer this one because although I'm using a skill right now that was once a self-sabotaging activity, copywriting, advertising, right? As was speed training, as was everything. So because I saw an underserved market. Wait a minute, there isn't any copywriters for gym owners? That's a blue ocean. I don't where I'm at now in life. I that just doesn't really tip my trigger anymore because for this one here, I think what in business you're creating more of a mercenary attitude, whereas if you're helping people like yourself, right, in terms of the people that you get the most, and vice versa because they're like you, right? I think you have more of a missionary approach there. And it helped before, that also has worked. I mean, hey, because the old saying goes, buyers buy. But I would definitely, if I take or leave it, I would do number one if I were you guys. Okay, and so if we're gonna go that route in terms of the who, okay, then there's a couple of things that make up this who. Okay, so their age, their gender, their profession. We talked about pain, passion. Okay, and then that's obviously, that's a lot. It's a lot to comprise of a single person. So then, again, you know me, I like threes. So then pick 3 of those. And then you start developing that ideal client for yourself. So for Osama, what is it? It's I help
Business owners.
business owners of what? What type of business owners?
The majority of them are real estate investors, landlords.
So I help real estate
Commercial.
investors who what? What's their problem and passion? Give me problem and passion.
Who want to grow their portfolio. Well,
And then what's their problem?
dealing with the complexities of insurance.
There you go. So I help real estate investors develop their portfolio without dealing with the complexities of insurance. There you
Off
go.
the rip.
What?
Said off the rip.
Off the I've done this before. But yeah, that's I can't take any credit for that. The how to without blank, the how to blank without blank, that's a very old copywriting tactic. How to insert want without insert fear. So I can't take credit for that. But that helps. That will help you. So we winnowed out Osama's client avatar there. But that was just one example. So Beth, if you had to choose from these 5: age, gender, profession, pain, passion, for the client type that you're working with, what are you thinking?
Well, what first came to mind were other speech pathologists, but my love is incorporating the horse, and that's across physical, occupational speech therapists and clinical psychologists. So that's my broader group, because one of my areas is interprofessional practice. So how do we work together with this? So I jotted down something like I help professionals improve their confidence working with children, working with people with disabilities, something.
So professionals, just any type of
I mean,
professional,
do I start
any type of
sorry, the speech pathologist will stop talking and let you.
No. I'm trying to listen. I feel like I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, because I get one idea.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have it. It's true. I have a niche.
Yeah.
But my niche does not have enough people in it to support this, which is why I need to expand and get more people interested in doing it. And I've taught and trained physical therapist, occupational therapist, and speech pathologist and clinical psychologists in incorporating the horse into treatment.
Yeah.
So, because there's communication involved in all of them. So if you're a physical therapist and you have a child on your caseload with a communication disorder, you are not trained in that, but the horse is going to allow you to see improvement. So you need to know what's going on. You need to understand that child's communication and be able to know the best way to work with them from the physical therapy perspective. I can do that.
So is there an all-encompassing term for physical therapists and clinical psychologists that would fit under that so then you're not getting too verbose with your messaging? Does that make sense? Would you just call them health and wellness professionals, or is that not distinct enough?
No, it's more skilled. It's more skilled therapy.
So I mean that's very distinguishing right there. I help skilled therapists. Because if the people that you're talking to, they have a certain ear for certain things, and so if they say if you hear skilled therapists and that's the person that Beth is talking to, they're like, well, what else do you have to say? What do you mean? What's for skilled therapists? And so I help skilled therapists. And then you mentioned, I think you gleaned over or glossed over pain and passion when you were talking. I don't remember what you said. You said the disabilities.
No, I help Well, I went back to what you said was like a problem,
Yeah.
the philosophical problem,
Yeah.
and that many of them don't venture into this area because they're just not confident. They don't know what to do.
Mm.
So if I can provide them information, education to help them become more confident
Yeah.
to move into this area and learn how to do it,
Hmm.
then I can give them those skills.
And then what's a problem they face?
Lack of progress in their clients. You are expanding their toolbox
Hmm.
of the types of therapy that they can provide to their clients to move them even further in their communication communication abilities.
You said improve progress or progress.
Yeah, improve function.
And then what is a, I'm trying to think of a derivative of confidence, as far as what pain you're saving them from. We don't have to do pain, but I kind of always go that way just because the movies examples that I used before. So if you help skilled therapists improve function, improve,
Expand their toolbox
yeah,
so every client can succeed. Something like that.
problem.
Because
And do you work with a particular age group or a particular gender?
I work birth to death.
Okay.
I work across the age span.
Okay, so then that wouldn't be very niching there. Pause there.
I mean, my clients are across the age span.
Yeah. Maybe this will help. Let's go to number 3 because I think we're just missing the one piece that's really going to hook them in. Let's talk more about that right now. So the how's got 2 parts. Part 1, good stuff. That's kind of what you were starting to get into there, Beth, which was a lot of the benefits of working with Beth. So that's how part 1 is the good stuff, right? You're going to make it what? You're going to make it easier for them. You're going to make it faster. You're going to guarantee it. I'm not saying this is what you're going to do. I'm saying this is what you know what I mean. You're going to help them experience the dream. Okay, that's the good stuff. Again, kind of sounds a little bit like the success piece on the framework we went through before. And then part 2 is the bad stuff. Issues, slow, suffering.
Yeah, or your client plateaus and they're not showing progress. So insurance will no longer pay for any therapy and everyone's mad.
Yep. I help skilled therapists improve function without plateaus in progress. But I don't know I don't think I hit the what you're actually doing with them very well. But you got the gist there. I mean, because if you said the problem is hitting plateaus, you're never going to stop gaining progress? Wow. Okay. I'm interested. Okay. So then we've got an amalgamation of something going on here. So I'm going to go in the middle here, just kind of carve up a spot here. Okay. And so now when you combine, which is the next step, it's kind of what we've been dripping in every now and then. So it is Again, this could be your bio on your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your signature on your emails. Okay. I help the who. And some people like get, I like become. Why do I like become? The aspirational identity. How, part one. Without, how, part two. So I help real estate investors develop or increase or enhance their portfolio without dealing with the complexities of insurance. I help skilled therapists get, what would you say, Beth? Or become, or improve, or progress. I kind of like the plateauing without plateauing in their progress, or without progress plateauing, that alliteration there, that bang, bang, right at the end is kind of punchy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. But I mean, the good stuff should be easy. You can literally pull out anything there. But yeah, I thought you did that was great by you. Totally bragging. John, what would you say from you? John, you've been awfully quiet. What the heck's going on over there?
I've been listening.
Oh.
Yeah, this is good stuff. I like hearing this go through and hear other people working on it. It's something I've been working on for quite a while, and I think I shared mine with you. Actually, it might have been in the post, the 60-day post. And I don't know if you can read it. I have it actually on the wall behind me. I don't know if it's visible to you, even if I unmuddy it. Let's see. And this is going to fight me every step of the way. All right, so I'll just read it to you. I cultivate hope by helping people acknowledge that they have a purpose and determine what it is and how to get there. And it took me a long time. How do I narrow that down? If I'm really tightening my niche, however you want to say that, I go with what Russell Brunson says. My target in general is me 5 years ago.
Huh? Yeah.
We're talking 50 somethings, and people who are in a career that it's fine with them, and it's okay, but it's not what they're supposed to be doing either anymore, or it's not quite what they're supposed to be doing. For me, it was an entire change of industry, from one to another, because I felt my calling was to change. And so I'm going from helping people in the realm of insurance to helping people in the realm of coaching. And so I crafted that way, and that's who if I tighten it down, but the reality of it is there's people getting out of college that are in the same problem, or getting out of high school. I just don't know what to do, and I don't know what the next steps are and how to get there. So my overall direction is much larger, and then I can do my marketing by segments. And the first one that I'll be really hitting hard is me.
So then, John, would it be something like, if you're helping you, would it be something like, I help successful pre-retirees start their next chapter without the stress of switching industries?
No, because it could include the stress of switching industries. It might not.
But if they're working with you, then you take the stress away, because you're them five chapters ahead, right?
Yep, but I want to be careful in there, because it doesn't necessarily mean switching industries.
Right. That was one thing that you said, stress from switching industries. That's where I locked on, and so then I just plugged that one in there.
Yeah, it's more just switching what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of ways to stay in the same industry and switch up what you're doing. For some people, it's just a matter of switching departments. They're in a
Right.
great, the company loves them. They want them to stay. They'd like to stay, but they hate what they're doing.
So then there's the answer then. So
Pardon?
so I help blank do blank without switching industries. I mean, then you could have a product for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's another product that could be an entirely different product. I do have, I target it down in different ways so that my marketing can be focused on a particular one.
Yeah.
But overall is what I just shared, because that encompasses all of it,
Mhm.
and I split out from it. And some of what you said in there, Hunter, I really like, and I got to think of how to put that in there, especially the removing the stress or without the stress of.
Oh yeah.
It highlights the why would they talk to me about it? They could probably figure it out. I did. It took me a while.
Mhm.
And I go through a lot of pain and see a lot or talk to a lot of experts or read a lot of experts. And I didn't have anybody to hold my hand through it. So there was a lot of pain and stress involved with that. And so you're right. I got to highlight that a little better.
Yeah, I mean, you're showing them how to do. You're showing them. I mean, for those of you who don't know John, John's in my Toastmasters group, and I think John's got a pretty sweet setup, just in professionally and personally. And I mean, John's the type of guy that could, if with the clientele that you're reeling in, John. I mean, you can give them wisdom without the hard lessons or scars. I mean, ugh. Right? I mean, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's the story that I tell in my 2-minute elevator speech. Talks about the day that I sat down at my computer and realized I don't want to do this anymore,
boom.
and how my journey was after that.
You see how we just started that story? With a problem. Bang. Thank you, John.
Did I segue you to something?
No, because we're out of time. But I'll take the next. Let's see. It's 4:56. If there's any other questions or anything else that you guys wanted today, let me know.
This is great
No,
stuff.
this is really helpful.
Oh, good. I'm
I
so
have to
glad
go.
to
I
hear
have
that.
to mull over this and pull my words together.
I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for that. I do like this stuff. It's to me, this is literally no different than writing. It isn't.
One thing I want to throw out, Beth, something you had said earlier, and I want to challenge you on it.
Please.
You had said, I want to do something if I can't be sure to be the best at it, or something to that effect. Don't be afraid to fail. I actually had that in one of my blogs that went out recently. If you're not failing, you're not trying enough new things. You have to fail, because that's the only way you get better. If all you're doing is stuff you know is going to be perfect, you're not getting any better. You're just recycling who you are.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Exactly what I think. I agree with John. I mean, but yeah, just do something. Just take a step. Take a step back, and then that next iteration, you'll get it down. You this fine winnowing Hopefully, this helped. But yeah, I mean that winnowing prospect, that winnowing process. Excuse me, I forget who it was. I think it was in Seth Godin's book. This is Marketing. He talked about for every 20 bad ideas, there's a good one. So you kind of I talk a little bit about this in part 3 of my book. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like sifting. You're sifting. You're not trying to turn the dirt into gold. You're trying to find the gold in the dirt. And we got to sift through a lot of dirt to get in order to find that gold. So I think that's the play for you, Beth. Though I would love to, and partly I'm selfish because I would love to talk more about email campaigns and things like that and how that works and funnel. Well, John's in a funneling course right now, but. So if there isn't anything else, I'm gonna go spend the rest of my Sunday evening with my wife because tomorrow's our second anniversary, and I will keep you guys abreast with everything else, and I'll hopefully see you next Sunday.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
Yes.
Hunter, can you set up a, because we all put in, or at least the ones that put in their 60-day objective,
Yeah.
maybe just a form of like, hey, we check in once a week of like, so you guys can hold us accountable.
Yep. And so I actually had this book like this on my desk just now. Osama, for that exact question, you are tracking with me today, my friend. Called Traction.
Action.
Yep. And there's a company.
Such a dry book.
Yeah, and there's a company scorecard in there. So I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna make a spreadsheet of all our names and all our goals in there, and then we're gonna be able to just simply track on or off every week, so we can check in and hold each other accountable. So thank you for that.
Sweet. Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Osama. On my to-do list, finish it and publish it.
Yeah.
Finish it and actually put it on the website on the school.
There you go.
Okay.
All righty. Have a good day, everybody.
Nice meeting
Take
you.
care.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Meet you.